Okay, so today we are looking at three major events in American history. The moon landing, the assassination of JFK, and 9/11. Now, as you may know, the official story is something that a lot of people do not accept. Okay, so we're going to look at the official story, and then we'll see some of the issues with the official story. But now let's switch focus and let's look at 9/11. All right, so this is the buildings coming down on 9/11. Watch how they come down. It's very strange.
The North Tower came crashing down.
Heard a rumble.
So this is strange because a plane hit that building, right? Now it's on fire. It's very strange that the building could come straight down like that. It's almost like a demolition. I'm not saying it's a demolition, but it looks kind of strange. Okay? What's even stranger is that there were two planes that hit the Twin Towers that day, but there were three buildings which came down. The North Tower, the South Tower, and building number 7, which was across the street. Nothing hit that thing. It came down, okay? So let's watch the video. It's on fire, okay? But whoa, it's kind of strange. Comes straight down. Nothing hit that, a plane did not hit this thing, okay? And then, of course, there's another video that's kind of strange, which is the President of the United States, George W. Bush, during the attacks. He's President of the United States, he's sitting in a classroom watching a teacher teach. That's kind of strange, guys. He's kind of busy, right? He's spending the entire morning while the attacks are happening, just watching the class being taught. His positioning is weird because if you are a president, you should be behind. This is his assistant telling him there's an attack. Why is he being rushed out of that room and being put in a safe place, right? Okay? He's just sitting there. America's being attacked and he's just sitting around with kids.
Thank you all. You can step out the.
Okay, so a reporter is asking him, Mr. President, do you know that America is being attacked right now? And he's like, we'll talk about it later. He's not worried. At this point, no one knows who's attacking America. No one knows how large the attack is. As President of the United States, he should be rushed immediately to a safe location. And he's not worried. He's like, we'll talk about it later. Very, very strange, okay? And that's why, even today, people are suspicious about what happened. Okay, guys, so having seen the videos, let's go over what happened, okay? Okay. So, let's talk about the JFK assassination. On November 22nd, 1963, JFK was assassinated. And Lyndon B. Johnson, new president, he organizes a commission called the Warren Commission to investigate what happened. And they produce this huge, huge report, thousands of pages. And the report says that only one person was involved, Lee Harvey Oswald. And he was able to kill the President of the United States because of his communist sympathies. And that's it, okay? There are certain problems, though, okay? So this is the President of the United States, And he's in Dallas touring Dallas. I want to point something strange about this picture, okay? You see how in the front, JFK is in the front, but all the security is behind him. That makes no sense. What's the point of security if the security is all behind him, right? Because if someone rushes and attacks him, they're too far behind, right? Also, you see how the bodyguards and the police officers are to the side? Well, that's to prevent snipers, right? So my question then is, why is this car behind structured in a way to protect the people inside, but the car carrying JFK, it doesn't have any bodyguards? That's kind of strange. All right? This is the location, the map of the motorcade. So JFK, he's streaming down, and then when he gets into the spot, Lee Harvey Oswald is able to take 3 shots at him and kill him at the spot. So Lee Harvey Oswald takes 3 shots and kills JFK. But as you can see, the problem with this location is there are actually lots of places where you can take a shot at the president because he's in an open car with no security. And there were a lot of witnesses who believe that there were other shooters as well, at least one more shooter. And they heard the shot from other places. Many of these witnesses, almost 30 of them, were all killed or they died mysteriously soon afterwards. That's very strange. This is the menorah, okay, which is a holy candle in the Judaic tradition. You see how the shape is very similar to this plaza called Dealey Plaza? What's also interesting about Dealey Plaza is it was the site of the first Freemason large temple in Texas. Okay, so there are these religious significance to this place. It was almost like they picked this place for a ritual sacrifice. Okay? So we'll talk about the Freemasons later on because they're very important. The Freemasons are the ones who some say control America. Okay? Lee Harvey Oswald fired 3 bullets. And there's 1 bullet which hit JFK. But it's called a magic bullet because it was also able to ricochet off JFK and hit Governor Connolly, who was also sitting in the car as well. Okay? So they insisted that there was only 1 shooter. He fired 3 shots, and 1 bullet was able to injure everyone because the bullet was a magic bullet. That was in the official Warren Commission. Okay? So Lee Harvey Oswald, he's been arrested and he's been charged with killing the president. This is Lee Harvey Oswald, when he's going to court, he is ambushed by a man named Jack Ruby. You see how close Jack Ruby gets and shoots Lee Harvey Oswald point blank. Okay? Now, this is a strange picture because, first of all, how did Jack Ruby get so close? There was no security. Second of all, you see how Lee Harvey Oswald, he's being held in place by 2 police officers who are much bigger than him, right? So it's very hard for Oswald to dodge the bullet, okay? That's number 2. Number 3 is, you see his reaction. He is a trained police officer, and he looks scared. He looks confused. If you are a police officer and someone comes at you menacingly, right? You know to push him away or draw out your gun. But you see how he just freezes. That goes against his training. That's very strange. Okay? I'm not saying that this is a conspiracy, but I'm just saying how this doesn't really add up. There are lots of questions that are raised by this. Also, JFK has a brother, Robert F. Kennedy. And in 1968, Robert F. Kennedy runs for president, and it seems as though he's about to win the Democratic nomination. And then he gets killed too. And again, the question is, how did this happen? And it's a mystery how this man, named Sirhan Sirhan, and he does not look like a killer, okay? Lee Harvey Oswald does not look like a killer. He does not look like a killer either, okay? But they charge him with a crime, and he's still in prison. And even today, he's saying, I didn't do it. Okay? All right. So now let's look at 9/11. And as you can see from some of the video footage, it's very suspicious what happened. There's other things that are suspicious about what happened. First of all, a month after the Twin Towers came down, all that concrete and steel was shipped to China. Huh? Yes. The Twin Towers, the debris is now in China, being put in other skyscrapers. Who knows, okay? But that's kind of strange because you would obviously want to run an investigation before you ship that thing off. But they did not do the investigation. They shipped that debris to China right away. That's the first thing. Second thing is that never in the history of humanity has a fire brought down a skyscraper. Never before and never afterwards. Investigators explained that what happened was that the jet hit the skyscraper, and then because of the explosion, because of the gas, the steel frame started to melt, okay? And then when the top melt, it started to melt the bottom one, and the bottom one, and the bottom one, and this is what we call the pancake theory. Never in human history has this happened before, except with the 3 buildings on 9/11. Okay, and the third, and then 2 planes brought down 3 buildings. The last thing is that the plane, the explosion was so intense that no bodies were recovered, no luggage was recovered, but we found their passports. Okay? We found their passports. These are the 19 hijackers who the government decided was solely responsible for the attacks. They had no help. They had no government help. They just acted by themselves, and they got really lucky. Okay, the luckiest people on the planet. As you can see, this is their passport that was found on a plane wreckage. Didn't find any bodies, didn't find any luggage, but we found the passport. So we know for sure that it was a terrorist and no one else. This is the boarding pass. This is the boarding pass. Okay? Found in the debris of the Twin Towers. Pretty lucky. But this is conclusive proof that the terrorists were responsible and no one else.